Okay, so I was kind of thinking that Motivate might look to go for the Hoodwink. It didn't work out for them in game number two, but it's still another one of those heroes that is good burst damage, is able to make stacks just using the Acorn shot for vision, so that it hits in onto
10
the
seconds
Ancients.
remaining.
Easy way to be able to make stacks. I mean, Shadow Demon's fine as well, right? You talk about
5
percentage
seconds
damage, Soul
remaining.
Catcher does a good portion of it, and you just use the Demonic Purge onto a Tiny. Doesn't matter if he BKBs, if it's around the time that Dusa has a Skadi, that Tiny can't do anything.
Even not just Soul Catcher, but Demonic Purge is, I think, one of the better ways against Tiny because he's now you don't have an IO to pair with him. Like, how
Mhm.
mobile can he really be? AA
Dire
doesn't have a
team
stun, Hoodwink doesn't have the greatest, but they're back into the Bane, so maybe.
It worked for them, right? Like it was against a
Radiant
Pango
team
in
pick.
particular, so
I
Keeper
like that.
of
oh,
the
okay.
light.
Cool, cool, cool.
I mean, it's good for the laning stage, right? Sand King, Keeper of the Light, just chain stun combinations looking to come through when you get multiple points into the chakra magic. Lots of magic damage to be able to put pressure on early. You do still need
10
something
seconds
that kind of
remaining.
wants to go in first prior to the Sand King picking up his Blink Dagger, because Coddle
5
inherently is going to
seconds
take some of
remaining.
that farm away in the laning stage, so you're not going to get like a 9-10 minute Blink Dagger unless you're getting a ton of kills in the laning stage.
Yeah, the
Dire
the big
team ban.
issue in Medusa is you lack that
Strong
backline
spirit.
jump. So, is there a hero for Gacha Boy that kind of stands out that you're kind of hoping for now?
Radiant team ban.
Any of the spirits, to be honest, right? Like Storm's gone. You want the backline jump against the Ancient Apparition, right? So I feel like Void Spirit's great. I feel like Ember Spirit's going to be great. I feel like Puck's great. Just anything that's able to lock those heroes in prior to them being able to pick up the BKBs. Hoodwink doesn't buy it. AA doesn't buy
10
it and doesn't even
seconds
want to go into a
remaining.
Yule Scepter. Storm, he'll BKB instead of picking up a
5
Kyra and
seconds
Sange, but he
remaining.
won't like it. And you are enabled quite heavily by the Keeper of the Light as well.
Dire
So there are
team ban. Radiant
at
team
different
ban.
stages, Keeper of the Light is always going to be very effective. Unless this is a mid coddle. I don't think it is,
I don't think
but
so.
never know though.
You never know. Doesn't seem like a Gacha Boy hero, and I think you.
Hold on. Let me look at his profile. Let me see if he's been playing it lately.
Okay, well, while you do that,
10
I
seconds
I like the
remaining.
Park ban. That was actually something I was gonna mention if they banned out the Void Spirit, because I thought they were gonna do that instead of the Park. So now Void's a potential. Quap is a little bit concerning on the
Radiant team
burst.
pick.
There's the percentage damage.
Wow. And it's back into
Okay.
mega greed for Motivate, like we saw in game one. Just late game, you've got. I feel like you're prime position to take late game.
And even
10
like
seconds
sanking this game,
remaining.
it's going to be a different build. You know, you're not
5
getting this 10
seconds
minute Blink
remaining.
Dagger in my eyes. You go on Boots of Travel. You're going. Honestly, like Vanguard's not going to do that much for you this game. If Tiny gets onto you, you're going to die because you've got the supporting cast there with you. So I feel like his role, in addition to Coddle, is just to try and keep these waves pushed out as much as possible and make a lot of moves into the triangle for the Deucer a little bit more obvious, right? And Doom is just going to be passively farming with his Devour, with his Midas. So yeah, it is greedy, and you need to play a very certain way to make it work. And you also need to be punished by aggressive play, which UDV did not do in game number one. They way too passive in my eyes. I mean, it was what 15 minutes, and there were 4 kills. That is nowhere near enough.
So, what are the flaws that need to be covered with this offlane pick?
Mm, I think you just need to be a hero with low cooldowns. You need to be consistently active. Uh, need to obviously be a good lane together with a Medusa. Pango banned?
It's
Pango's not
not,
banned.
but it's a pretty tough
Okay.
Pango game.
Disgusting.
Tusker.
Yo!
I mean, low cooldown, right? Yep. Offlane Tusk. They just need something that's going to get active. If they sit back and farm like they did in game number one, I'm going to be like, what are you picking this Tusk for, man? Because it just does not do anything. Well, maybe a little bit less now when the Walrus kick is vector targeted, but I feel like once you get to that stage, Deuce is probably out of control already. So I'm expecting to see Rapido, JG, and Losify play together quite frequently. And he doesn't need to be there. He can look to enable the Tiny just by going for stacks, by playing on the other side of the map, be showing in the lane, breaking smokes. So yeah, this trio needs to make a ton of work happen. If I'm not seeing like 10 kills by 15 minutes minimum
10
for
seconds
UDV, I'm going to be
remaining.
very concerned.
5 seconds
The
remaining.
Tusk does give them a way to take Roche early, which I think is super important because they didn't have that prior. I don't know. A is a very awkward medallion builder. Hoodwink kind of can, but it's definitely not supports that feel too content with going to medallion. So Tusk, although we have been seeing a lot of like Snowball and Shards max out before tag team, maybe even level 1 is enough, but Storm loves Aegis. And if you can give him that extra life, which is the counter to Doom, that is the counter to be able to deal with him. I think something we have to mention as well is that it's actually even a Gacha Boy Sand King, which I was just anticipating it to be a Doom mid. So does this kind of change your thoughts on this game 3?
Not particularly. I mean, I think this game as well, just to touch on your like armor, medallion, solar crest point. I don't think Luzify actually hates it this game just because he's paired together with Rapido, right? So Tusk tag team is going to love having that minus armor. You could just go a casual Blightstone in the lane and then look to build that into a medallion really early on. And I feel like Tiny is one of the best heroes to be able to give the solar crest over to. You know, you don't naturally get a lot of that agility and attack speed is at a premium. So Solar Crest, anything that can just be used to make your attack so much faster, it's gonna be fantastic for UDV.
So
I'm thinking. I mean, chat's been pointing out a little bit that my predictions have not been super on point today, but I have clarified them and I've said exactly what needs to happen at different stages. But just didn't do them. They just need to listen, man. You know. All right, how we got this one?
I to quickly mention as well, I've been wrong every single game as well, but thank you, chat. Thank you for not mentioning my flaws and just harping on Danog. I appreciate that. Always look at him as the wrong person.
Absolutely. I'm not convinced by Tusk offlane. Luzify, he's gone a little bit more just consistent sustain for the laning stage, not the harassment build. Against a Bane, it's kind of understandable, but you want those opportunities to be able to get the tag team off. I just don't think they're going to give them that. You know, Boombui, of course, he's going to be staying at range. He's a pretty good Bane player. Toy as well. Like, there's no reason for a Medusa to be out of position in the laning stage. I think Masros is just playing really well today, outside of, you know, a bad 5 minutes in game number 2. So I'm going to go Motivate. Hopefully I don't jinx them, but sorry, Motivate fans, that's my prediction.
So it's been, if we both go for the same team, it's been the double jinx. So I'm sorry, Motivate fans.
Do you think UDV are going to win, though?
I'm sorry, Motivate fans, but I am also going to double jinx. As what do we got? No real crazy action. JJ does with the bounty room, so a 2 for 2. But I've been favoring a lot more of the faster tempo style of drafts, and that's why we were both kind of choosing those teams in game 1 and game 2. But they weren't working at all. And I said on the break, I'm like, all right, I'm at least for this series going to stop going for the team with the faster paced lineup, and I'm doing that. I think UDV do have the faster pace, but I feel like Motivate, it's a very similar draft to their game 1, and I think they should be able to edge out the victory.
And they're even just in the laning stage looking to position themselves a whole lot more aggressive. He as well as Ken putting themselves there onto the front lines. You will have the luxury, of course, of having the Keeper of the Light very easy secure for those range creeps, which is nice.
Has been killed.
Gonna see how this mid lane is to end up as well. JG had a performance he would like to forget in game number 1 on his Monkey King, but similar to Gacha Boy, feels like he's so much more capable when he's playing on these Spirit heroes.
So how does this Storm Sand King matchup really fare? Is there any little intricacies we're looking for in the lane?
Right, you're asking a support player this. All right, so Gacha Boy, I feel like early on it is going to be a little bit Sand King favored, especially now that they've blocked up the small camp, because that's what the benefit is of playing Sand King, right? The Caustic Finale shoves the lane under the tower, enables you to secure the farm, and he can just go back and look to claim it himself. So he's got his own small camp to play with. JG doesn't.
Another thing to mention is that one of Gacha Boy's best heroes is the Storm Spirit. So he's going to know this hero through and through. It's another question if you know the Sand King Storm matchup, though, because yeah, we do not get this one often at all, but both the position 2s having the bottle, so it's going to be a lot of emphasis now on the water runes.
Gacha Boy already looking to stack up that small camp for himself. So nice little gold injection about to come through for him after he shoves out this lane.
top lane. They're making an attempt on... Okay, never mind. One right click and Lucify's not in a position to be able to capitalize on the tag team. So it's the next lane. We're going to move over towards you. Do you feel like I know you said before that you're not as convinced on the Tusk 3. Is there any big reasons why? Is it just like you haven't seen him convert games where he's maybe been ahead, or he's lacking something that 3s need?
Pretty much. I mean, in my eyes, you can, in theory, make him work as like a position 2, because if it's a good lane, you're up against a melee hero, you can look to bully them out with a tag team, you're getting a lot more levels, and Tusk is one of those heroes that gets a lot of his effectiveness just out of his abilities, as opposed to his farm. Whereas in this side lane, I just don't seem to feel the impact of position 3 Tusk. Position 4, position 2, position 5, by all means. But position 3 just feels like you're in this awkward state. And I feel like, kind of like I was talking about in the draft, they just wanted that objective or that hero that was able to fulfill that hole in their draft, right? Where they just didn't have consistent lockdown.
They're going to go. Second point up in the tag team. Great nightmare. Oh, that's exactly what you need. Boompu is able to reposition back to the safety of his tower. And just going to mention that I feel like Tusk has a perfect lane pairing the Hoodwink. Someone with a stun, someone with very good right click as well. Your animation, solid, 56 damage. Well, now getting buffed up from the level. And I think that's what you need when you are playing a Tusk as a core. Like some Mirana-S type of hero that likes to right click. So we're going to have to see them get really aggressive in this lane.
At the moment, though, not working out too well. He is getting a decent amount of denies off. Of course, Tusk has quite good base damage, especially with the build that he's going for. Double bracer, I believe. Go on the raindrops. It's going to be nice. I mean, it allows you to play aggressive, and it's nice to see that UDV's mindset seems to have changed, right? Like, I'm sure that was the main message that came through after game number 1. Aggression. We need to play aggressive. Because it just didn't happen. They didn't take advantage of any of their timings and all, and the TA plus Doom lineup was able to come online completely. This time around, they're going a different route, and hopefully they make the most of it.
Does Masteros get this kill? He's got the slow coming through from the poison right click and venomed weapon. Okay, very interesting. I did not know it was called that. Okay, very nice.
That's what the Bulls do to you. Used to be 10-second duration previously. Now it's just 2. So it's a nice little quality of life change to anyone that just got hit by one of those creeps and then used a tango.
Yeah, it was something you always like to mention. Just because it was always a big factor.
Now I can't sound smart.
Yeah, I know. It was always that one. It's always there's casters that have that one little thing that they mention and they sound smart and maybe they don't hear it elsewhere. Is Teehee just dodges the blast, so should be okay.
Mid lane.
Oh, gotcha boy. Epi used to get the first blood onto JG and well deserved for the tips as well.
I mean, that's the advantage, right, of making sure that you get this really early timing, right? The block up of the small camp on the Radiant side, they've since dewarded it, but have to be careful here against Lucify. He doesn't have any kind of detection for himself.
Run, gotcha, run.
He'll get away. JG, oh, he was begging for that range creep to give him enough for level 6, but he was about 2 experience short. Otherwise, he would have gone for the dive. But yeah, that's the advantage, right? You block up the enemy's camp, you stack your own, you just get so much more levels early on, and with that epicenter prior to Storm Spirit hitting level 6, he was able to get the kill. To be very careful,
zip in, yeah, gotcha boy. Some revenge for JG. Does he get the bounty? No, it was Gotcha Boy getting. That would have been perfect if JG could snag that, but at least he has a haste now to play with.
Tigger was able to push out that mid wave a little bit, but the tower still ended up taking over 1/3 of its damage because of the siege creep wave, so it's great that you're able to get the kill, but just stayed and was a little bit too greedy farming around that small camp area. He should have absolutely known that it was sentried as well, because the creeps were there. You were able to farm them and you knew your team blocked it up.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, Masteros and Tigger are actually going to take the hard stack together. I wasn't sure if they were going to leave this or not to Gotcha Boy. We see Polaris in particular, they really like to give Lelouch the stack at the hard.
Radiant
but
scanning.
do they give it to him?
He might even just still be giving it to Gotcha Boy, yeah. He's just saying, look, I need to get active, I need to be making plays. And this is what I was talking about before, you know.
Look at the stacks.
We'll get it.
Oh,
making sure that he
Craigasm.
blocks. Nicely done. So he is going to get that early blink dagger. And I feel like as the mid laner, that is
Top
kind of what you
lane?
need. Space.
Toy's in trouble. Stonegate's going to be forced out. JG continued to stay in front of him though. And now Boom Boo and Tigger's able to connect. So all they needed was a nightmare, but beautiful position from Loserfight. A double bushwhack. Gets rid of the nightmare, but JG just lacking the damage early on.
My eternal gratitude.
But again, it's the mindset change, right? Yep. Like, he's getting active. He's looking to scout out stacks. He's looking to steal away farm as much as possible. He's looking to try and kill the Medusa early. And if you remember, in game number 1, like, Toy was well in front in net worth at this stage of the game. Now, he's sitting in third. Not way behind, but certainly not where he would like to be.
Yeah, and it's, of course, it's wonderful if they can get the kill on Toy, but it's the fact that you're pressuring him. It's not the Medusa freely farming, and honestly what we've seen from both position ones through almost every game, like Ken's having a similar fate. 3 games in a row where Ken's been on the Tiny. This game he doesn't have as much of a way to amp him. I guess tag team kinda, but there's top of the net worth, working on the Echo Saber for the Tiny, so very nice start.
Not for you.
As a result of that, bullying being done to the Medusa, she's pushed out of lane maybe a little earlier than she would like to. Oftentimes, she leaves at like the 9.5 minute mark or so. But this means that Tigger's at least able to make the movement up here and soak up a lot of that valuable experience. So that's the big benefit of their team right now. Every single hero on their lineup is pretty capable of being able to shove out waves very effectively. So it makes this greedy lineup perhaps a tiny bit easier to execute and not get punished for.
Well, what do you feel like is some big items we could see come out? I suppose mostly the Coddle, just because the Bane can't really fulfill that role. So with Tigger playing top and fulfilling the dead lane, are there any cost-effective items that could pay off massive through the early game?
I'm just trying to think of like what he's actually looking to provide to a lot of these team fights, right? Like, is it going to be enabling the Sand King? Is it going to be just consistently refreshing the Medusa's mana? Or is it going to be something a little bit more offensive like an Aghanim Scepter? He's just going to go for a 4 stuff, which is fine, right? It's a good way to be able to even break the Hoodwink tree if you make sure to 4 stuff right on through it. Makes the Bushwhack a little bit less effective.
Oh, eyes on bottom. They haven't revealed Gacha Boy's blink, but now smoke pops, so they have this recognition. And you are not going to kill off Ken, so that's huge for UDV. They thwart the smoke on 3 with the blink reveal that was just completed from Gacha Boy.
They hadn't even realized that Boom Boy was already level 6 as well prior to that. So he's looking to make an aggressive movement there. Didn't work out, and this is exactly what happened to UDV in that previous game. So the fact that they're able to get away from that and going for an aggressive play with this greedy draft, that they're feeling very confident right now on Motivate.Trust.
But when can UDV they're eyeing up Toy? I don't know. Okay, if they can get him without the mana shield. Yo, all right. Rapido maxed out tag team in a blight zone for good measure. That's a lot of damage. Oh.
And he's got a lot of strength as well. Just hitting for 110 just with those singular right clicks. So yeah, you get punished. I'm pretty sure he's not going to have mana shield off when he's looking to farm anymore this game.
Can they convert on this though? Tigger's going to be dived on the tower. Gacha Boy waiting and praying for the mistake of the attempt. It's still a 1-for-1 nonetheless, but keep in mind it is a position 3 toss, so you have to be happy with the trade.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Absolutely. I mean, anything that makes more space for the Doom. He's just picked up his Midas, so he's going to look to accelerate his farm. Even making sure to give the Tome over to him. Like I said before, Bumbuy hit that really early level 6, so he doesn't need it. Keeper of the Light's been farming top, so he doesn't need it. He's getting a lot of that solo experience. You got to get Masros's levels up. He needs to make sure he's maxing out that Devour early. He needs to be making sure he's dodging ganks with the use of the Scorched Earth movement speed. And then, like we were saying in game number 1, the Infernal Blade's so effective at those heroes with high HP pools. And it's not even the Tiny, right? Tusk has pretty good strength gain himself, 3.9. He's building into a lot of strength items, so Infernal Blade's going to be good for him too.
For me, I'm just concerned that JG really hasn't got crazily involved because they don't have this hero to make plays. You know, Ken's not going blink. Shadowblade is the next item. And it doesn't even have the shard queued up, but you know, Tusk hasn't got a blink, so what can he really do? Is bottom lane? Yeah, they're eyeing up Masteros. I guess maybe that's how Rapido can close the distance with a snowball, playing with Teehee, get a kill like that, but they need to keep playing fast. You've got 3 cores on Motivate in top 4 position of the net worth, and you cannot play a slow-paced game.
No, and JG trying to dodge the Illuminate wasn't successful, unfortunately, with the tiny zip. I think as long as you don't see Doom and Sand King as long as you do see them on the map, you're very free to go for these aggressive dives onto the likes of the Keeper of the Light, onto the Bane, just because they don't have that instant defensive lockdown for you. You should be able to, with that triple Null Talisman build, very easily take them down. Of course, it's easier once he finishes up the Orchid, but I feel like he could have perhaps gotten a couple of freebies by this stage.
Yeah, maybe instead he can play with the Tusk. You know, we did see prior, it looks like Tusk is putting a lot more emphasis on defending the bottom tier 1 tower, so maybe we can see JG link down to bottom as well, because he doesn't really have anyone else to play with. Or maybe Lucifer, actually. Like, just a Vortex into Sharpshooter. So they could play this 2 duos across the map and just giving Ken space to get his farm.
They gotta go for this jump on Tigger, surely. He's right underneath the vision. You can go for the accurate zip, but it just feels like they're soaking up a lot of the same experience. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I like Wyvern. Oh, actually, good glyph.
Here we go. Sit behind the tower, JG. Doesn't run into Tigger just yet. Gonna try and TP out. JG, can he get the Vortex in time? He can. So the Coddle will be brought down, and that's a great influx of net worth. Meanwhile, mid lane, Rapido and Teehee, the other duo that we were mentioning, finding their separate kill across the map for UDV.
Yeah, I mentioned the key timing being 15 minutes, at least 10 kills. They're only at 6, but at least it's converted into a tower on the top side, and they're able to get multiple kills onto these cores as well. So I feel like that's going to be very nice and allow them to continuously transition. Gotcha boy, he's looking to itemize a bit more for his survivability before the lane shove, realizing, oh, actually, we've got a Keeper of the Light that's doing a pretty decent job so far.
Plan B it is. Hunt down the
Boy,
family.
just in his home. Oh, they're able to get a kill there with the Blink Dagger from Gotcha Boy, not needing the epicenter to be able to clean that one up. But now, just so close to being able to have that Yule Scepter available for Gotcha Boy. I think he wants to really be playing a lot more aggressively now with the rest of his team. I mean, you're approaching the BKB timing for Masteros. Just wants to be consistently making use of his Doom as well. I don't think we've seen it as yet this game. So let's see if he's able to convert that.
Ooh, like, who does he aim for on Masteros as his kind of first Doom target? Is there the most ideal hero you want to kind of take out of the fight?
Oh, absolutely Storm, right? You've got Gotcha Boy with his Blink Dagger, so you just need to make sure you're playing around him and then immediately looking to follow up with that. Right now, though, he's not actually playing with the rest of the team. Tigger, again, he's doing his job. Keeper of the Light just needs to keep these lanes shoved out, not allowing them to get any free real estate on the map.
They're coming.
His positioning is like. He's positioning himself correctly on the left-hand side.
Look at the backstab from Rapido as well. It's been a start, but they haven't run into anyone. Now with the Stone Gaze to reset. Oh, nice read from Motivate.
Yeah, Boomboy, really good positioning coming through there, making sure he was the one to reveal on the left-hand side. So if any smoke happens, he was the one that was going to get caught by it.
That could have been grave as well. He just dewarded the soul ward that UDV were looking to connect to with that smoke. So they lost their vision and continuing to find the space as Motivate the net worth lead.
Going for another.
That they are, but they don't have wards to play with. Gotcha Boy's gonna pop it now.
Just done.
And he burrowed into the middle, so they're gonna have to rely on Boom Boo to try and offset the initiation. It's a whiff for the Sharpshooter, but it will not matter with 5 heroes on UDV crossing the river to connect now with a T1 tower of their own.
I don't think you can look to defend this. Again, kind of similar to last game. The Sand King is all of your team fight right now. They're going to consider it with the tag team, that's for sure. Blightstone as well available. Been a drums pick up by Teehee, similar to last game. Just wanting that long game impact.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah, without your Sand King to initiate, MG.Trust doesn't have BKB as well to charge in the pit.
You mentioned the great thing.
Dude,
you
Repeater
use a
might
Wraith King to do it.
die. Oh, not the
Oh, the
bash!
bash!
Oh no! And now Sand King's back alive. He's got a TP moving
Oh
to
my
the
God, you couldn't
outpost. The
steal
Fiend
this,
Grip
Tigger,
as
could
well.
you?
There's no way Tigger's trying to do it. But Roshan ends up falling. Aegis claimed. And Toy, all he'll get is the kill on Lucifer, but he'll make him work for it. What could have been disastrous though. Rapido drops, Motivate, infiltrate the area, but not fast enough.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's one of those things where I could see that you're going for this this Aether Lens here on Lucifer. But I feel like, what if it was a medallion? You know, what if it was something that enabled you to take Roche just that little bit quicker? You don't lose 2 heroes. It's another death on this Tusk. Actually, it's only second for the game so far, but as a core, you feel like as a Tusk, you're a little bit more expendable, but the reality is you're not. You are what needs to consistently be looking to make space for the rest of the team. And they use 2 smokes to be able to set all of that up, and it doesn't really feel like enough of a win for mine for UDV.
Do you feel like they can get the victories though, now with the Aegis on Ken?
Or they're going to need to wait for him to get his Shadow Blade, and he's very close to being able to pick it up. But again, they just need to be looking to move forward at every single chance that they get.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Really feeling like a ticking time bomb though. You've got Doomsel at the ready, and his net worth continuing to grow. You've got the Dusa late game, which fares pretty well into Tiny. I have seen Tiny still beat this matchup, but I would give a slight edge to the Medusa still.
It's all in the initiation, right? But the thing is that they've got fantastic burst damage coming through from UDV's side against the Medusa. Chain lockdown, you might just not get the luxury of getting off the Stone Gaze. It's very challenging to use the Nightmare onto the toss target if you've been Walrus punched as well.
Yeah, so it also comes down to the supports and how they're itemizing his top lane. Ken, a risky die, but he's got the blink to reposition. They've got to look to buyback to take the fight. Radiant, they're a little bit slow to connect to Ken. And with the Fiend Script, where's the cancel? That's going to be reliant on to JG. An instant orc, but still with the first life taken care of. They've got the Doom ready for round 2. They need to somehow disrupt MG.Trust. JG once again fulfilling the void they're requiring out of him. Beautiful plays coming out from the Storm Spirit. But T's still going to drop along with Rapido, who again is a position 3 in the Tusk. So a costly miss. Ooh, okay. Beautifully done. Rapido down to the south.
Surely they don't get away from this. Zephi able to get away too. Wow. All of that, a buyback as well coming through just for the cost of the AA. Sure, you lose the Aegis. Well worth it. Fantastic plays coming through there from JG to disrupt all of that. First time around, the zip forward, the Orchid use onto the Bane as he was Fiend's gripping, and then just to disrupt the use of the Doom onto the Tiny for the second life.
I really feel like Motivate are fine with that though. You cancel out the Aegis advantage, you get a couple of kills, nothing crazy, but the big one is the Aegis. That is the huge one. We're speaking a lot about UDV and pushing the tempo and having firm control of this game, and die win late. I'd be shocked if they don't. Gotcha!
Oh, the triple!
Oh, that's a way to initiate onto 3. Another snowball used defensively, but they can set themselves around this so there will be no escape from Rapido this time. As Motivate playing off their vision and off the back of Gotcha Boy's initiation.
Oh, baby, a triple. He was able to get all of them underneath that and just catch them out. And now they're looking to go for the aggressive play. No epicenter for another 10 seconds, but you don't need it. Doom's still available. They're looking to go for a big wraparound. What do they got vision of at the
JG's
point in
under
time?
ward.
It's JG. It's the target.
Oh no.
That's with Blink.
Oh no. Okay, there's
done, my man.
nothing really you can do. Yep. Doom drop. Instant follow-up. And JG gone. Dropped out of the map. Sent back to base in a body bag as Motivate. Up to a 6,000 net worth lead. And wait, UDV? They want to bring the fight. Ken jump in onto both supports. That's a really good way to start. The epicenter follow-up. Gotcha Boy's going to try and target the backline with the help. But Toy, they're separating Ken out from any extra reinforcements. There's a beautiful blinding light. putting him out of a position of retreat to the safety of the tower as Motivate onto the healers. Another one caught out in the river as UDV littering the map with all their corpses.
Radiant structures are
And Tigger's
fortified.
playing a fantastic game, just consistently kiting around multiple heroes in these team fights there. He was the reason that the Tiny was pushed back into that, even using the chakra magic onto his more active cores to make sure they
Here we
had the
go
extra
again?
stun and damage follow-up.
Play bottom, set up for the Ice Blast, but he's got the Mana Shield. The rest of the team have split away from the Medusa, but that, I guess you've still lose your tower, so... And you also mean Storm's gonna go all the way back to base, Tier's gonna go back to base, so... Ambitious is a way you could put it.
I'm over here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, the Tiny still does have a couple of levels lead over the Medusa, but it's what he's doing with those levels that's the big difference maker for mine, right? Like 3 kill involvements versus the Medusa having 4. That's not how you want to play this game as a Tiny. Tiny, once you've got like the 18-minute mark timing of Echo Saber, Aghanim Shard, plus either Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger or BKB, you gotta go. And unfortunately, every time that they've tried to, Motivate's positioning has just been way too good.
And I think this Scud is the item to end the game. This is...
Yeah.
You just destroy the Tiny. You can't... Oh, okay, so Tiny has to probably kill both supports like their initiation we saw prior, and then have to evade the Deucer, kite that, and go back in afterwards. But Scotty tanks you up. Scotty heavily reduces how Tiny can play these fights. And I just... You've already got, what is it, an 89% probability? And I think with this Scotty, it now puts you in firm control.
Oh man, Lucifer's going for the
Radiant are scanning.
Glimmer Cape. I'm honestly not sure what that does this game. Like, it's going to be nice against the Sand King, of course, with the
Radiant's
Epicenter,
middle
but
tower is under attack.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a
Bounty.
too much of a Solar Crest enjoyer, but I just feel like it provides so much to your team this game. All of that additional burst that it provides if you're using it onto a different target, not just from, of course, Tiny right-clicking harder, but Tag Team, Walrus Punch. They're both physical damage abilities that provide so much extra damage if you've got the Solar Crest on the target, and you can use it just onto your Tiny for A, movement speed, B, making sure that he can withstand a few more right clicks from the Deucer, and then when you're getting into pushing towers, if it gets to that stage, it's got that potential for it. So just going a little bit too defensive for mine for
Dire are
Lucifer.
scanning.
I think the thing for me as well is looking at how Rapido can actually find net worth on the toss, because the Coddle's about to take over his position in the graph, and we're saying Motivate are going to feel really favored as the game goes later and later, but I think any reposition can always give you an angle back into the game.
Radiant's top tower
Your
is under
perfect
attack.
example was Tiny for such a long stage with his toss. We've seen the Mars skewer, but
Collapse Magnus.
that's exactly my next point. We saw what happened at TI. Like, there is always an angle back in. So I do not know if Rapido can actually go BKB. I think you have to go Scepter, because I feel like if you go BKB, your Scepter's going to take way too long to come online, and it could just be done by then as well. Now you need to try and protect your Storm. Oh, he doesn't even get rid of the Nightmare!
He was still a Nightmare.
No! Oh, that's disastrous! Oh, the worst possible sequence of events.
This is the thing, though. Like, Lucifer, Teehee... Oh, they're looking to try and catch him out here with Tigger. Trying to get the Soulbind in onto the Hoodwink. Should still live, though. The thing is now, Ken knows that he's safe to play on this top side of the map for the next 50 seconds. Everyone went to the bottom side to try and contest that, except for Masaros. I believe he was there already. So he can look to go onto the top side, but you're not solo killing it Tiny, even with how strong you are with the Infernal Blade. So Ken can look to shove out this top wave, force perhaps a defensive movement to come through from Motivate.Trust, but well, lucky enough for them, they've got a DD in the river.
Guess whose perfect
Dire's
drawing that
top
was.
tower is under attack.
We got to play charades sometime, or
Wait, hang on, Charades has got... I was going to say...
Pictionary.
Oh, dude, you don't want to see my drawing in Pictionary. It's actually embarrassing. I feel... My partner, I feel really bad for them. Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'll you often, it's a kind of a drinking game, you know, at a camp or something like that. It's like, all right, dude, I understand.
Mate, right?
100%. Mate with a little bit of extra goodies in there. And I'm like, you know, maybe I'll give you a drink. You know, I understand I could have cost us Pictionary's UDV,
Radiant's
Oh,
This is
Toy.
I don't know. Toy's got a
DD.
DD. He could just turn this completely on its head. As all of a sudden, Rapido is so far away from his team as a snowball
He didn't blink.
into the depths of Dire's territory. Rapido's penalized for that. They're going
what are
across
you
the
doing,
map
man?
as Ken runs into Boom Buoy, though, and that was the gem. So, okay, silver linings.
Bit.
Oh, even able to pick up a paladin sword here on Ken.
You look
Obviously, oh,
Are they going to jump this as
On the
well?
keeper.
Stargaze on cooldown. Doom on cooldown as well. Ken's found an angle in. Both supports taken
DD
care
though.
of. But an instant TP out as they're seeing the DD and recognizing they are unable to fight into this advantage. So Teehee left to feed the wolves as Motivate. They do buy back on the Bane. But, oh, Roche is up.
Rush is up, right out in front. You got the Daedalus on Toy. And he's just going to look to start to chunk this one down. I'm not sure what the Tusk is doing there. I can understand going for that initial, move onto the Deucer. Good use of the Stone Gaze, just that extra movement speed to be able to get space. But when they were chasing him, he had Blink up the entire time, and he just didn't choose to blink away. You're a core. You can't afford to be giving your life away like that.
Scanning.
And now Roche, they have scouted it out. JG's got enough mana to get inside. He needs to free up some slots if he wants to attempt it. Yo, that was close from Lucifer.
naked.
Right, what do we got? Aghanim's shard on the Deucer. Does Toy want it? Okay, Toy does. What's his prevent now? Vortex.
Snowball.
Yep.
Sure if it works on Walrus Punch or not. I guess it would.
I don't know
Radiant's
because it's
middle
a
tower is under attack.
auto. I don't know actually.
Mm.
I don't think so. If you auto cast it,
Yeah. Might be one of those weird ones.
Dude, the mechanics in Dota, I can't keep up. I cannot keep up. I don't know how there's mechanic nerds out there that know everything.
Can't know
Dire's
everything.
bottom tower is under attack.
No one's perfect.
Radiant's middle
Except
tower
me.
is under attack.
All my predictions have been right.
You've just bashed your own drawing, bro. You can't say that.
JG. That is a millisecond short of finding the stun and then another kill on the
Dire's
storm.
top tower is under attack.
Oh.
Asteros is in the groove today. Like, he is playing
Okay,
pretty
Toy
damn
is
on point.
super split.
Dire's
I-
bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
alright. Even seeing Toy's solo, they're not even going to think about making an attempt, which puts me in a position where UDV, I struggle to see how they can ever kill the Medusa if they felt like that was not an opportunity.
Radiant's
think it's
middle
more-
tower is under attack.
By the time he comes up for his second life, the rest of the team's going to be there and we're going to have nothing left. And we're probably just going to die anyway. So I think the game plan for them right now is, look, we're going to lose a lot because of it, but we got to try waiting out this Aegis. The Tusk still doesn't have the greatest amount of net worth, like you were saying before, might happen soon. Coddle's overtaken him. And, yeah, unfortunately for Rapido, he's still a couple of components away from picking up that Aghanim Scepter. So didn't end up going for the BKB, must have been listening to you. But it's still a fair ways away before he's going to have any kind of significant impact, I would say.
Bottom lane, Ken is going to go for this, and Boom Boy's already got a sentry set up. Yep, there we go. Ken's gone. Ooh.
Radiant's top
Saw
tower
him.
is under attack.
This is the game plan, though. UDV, you have to split up the map. Try and get Motivate with their numbers, everywhere. But you don't have this way to really be able to protect the Medusa and just pull them apart. Try and get these pickoffs. Try and delay the Ages.
Radiant's top
Dire
tower is under
bit
attack.
immobiles. Ken's going to run into Boom Buoy. Just out of Sentry Ray, so quick and easy kill. Oh, Rapido? Okay, he went back in, so Rapido's going to end up dying for another time. Shard's a little bit off the mark, but Mastros has got the follow-up thanks to Tigger's recall.
Yeah, you mentioned them being a little bit immobile, and then Tigger was like, none of that. Got to make sure I can get the boys able to join me all throughout. And speaking of that, Masteros has a Boots of Travel for himself.
Dude, Toy's got Butterfly too. Ooh, alright. How'd he kill him?
This is big for Masteros, right? Not Masteros, but Motivate. They were 0-2 coming into this series. UDV 1-2 honestly looking like one of the favorites to drop out of Division 2 altogether, but if they're able to finish this one out, then they're right back in amongst it.
Yeah, it's huge. Huge for both sides as well, considering, you know, we've seen kind of the top of the pack is really forming, and UDV, they're 1 and 2 at the moment. So we said this was 5th versus 7th place, and much needed victories. As unfortunately for UDV, they are in a great position in this game 3.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh, I'm even just having a look at like, okay, well, what can Tiny maybe be looking to farm for to try and bring them back into this? He's got a Bloodthorn queued up, which I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. I mean, you're up against a Manta style and 2 BKBs. Like, they're just going to be able to remove that from you.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Yeah, good old raid boss with a couple of supports behind. It doesn't even... raid boss? I suppose. Mass-Ross has got
She's
a
a
lot of
raid
impact.
boss.
Sure.
Here I am.
This is one of those things that I'm like, why is a lot of Western Europe or even Eastern Europe going away from the Medusa? Because it feels like if you reach this stage and you're able to get that second Aegis for yourself, the rest of the team literally just stands almost a screen behind you, and there's nothing that they can do to stop you, and you're able to solo take a high ground objective.
Yeah, it's... I'd be really intrigued to see, honestly, the pick rate from every region compared to Southeast Asia with how much we're seeing the Medusa over here. Because I think that's always one thing that I've really loved just with the regional battles. We see kind of the meta developed for China, for North America, South America, etc., and we see just the playstyles and how different they are. We were speaking a lot about Southeast Asia, really been liking these fast tempo lineups and games, kind of, except for this series, which is ironic.
Sorry to interrupt,
No, go for
but
it.
poor UDV. They're just milling around in their own base, not able to do anything. So that even though you don't have an Aegis to contend up into, you've got no vision. Boombui is constantly looking to play next to these towers to pick off someone trying to shove in the lanes, and you just don't feel safe in going out into anywhere in the lanes. Like, you can tell Rapido really wants to get this wave because it'll give him at least get very close to picking up that Aghanim Scepter, but it's not going to have much time at all to be able to get it. Oh man, another DD for Toy. Not much more could you want.
Tihi's not going to be long for this world.
You
got to get out. You
Goodbye.
just have to cut your losses with a nice little sidestep. It will die afterwards. Look at Boombui, though. Trying to find the +1. Oh, down to the right side. Ken's been caught out. Mastros finds the core. The Ken Tiny. No, oh, he even just drops the gem. He's like, all right. I mean, you got to get it after I die anyway. I may as well put it on the deck on a platter for you.
That's cheeky. Very, very cheeky. I mean, Motivate, they're feeling themselves, right? Masteros, he's in the groove today. Being able to find all these pickoffs. Boombui, I think, has been exceptional as well. Just being able to find those things. I mean, he's playing Bane the way that you should play Bane, right? Set up for all of these pickoffs across the map, and Keeper of the Light just helps to enable that further by the use of the recall.
Okay. They've got the scepter.
We got a kick back into the base.
So
Yeah.
what's the cooldown? 12 seconds.
But I mean,
Radiant's
Tiny
middle
needs to
tower
be alive.
is
Like,
under
if you
Yeah.
get a walrus kick into a
Alright, he's
toss,
gonna buy
into a
back.
toss,
Let's see if it catches him somewhat off guard, but an instant BKB in his stone gaze, and now all of a sudden, Rapido will not have buyback. JG is actually going to look to zip him, but he's
You're
out of
out of mana,
mana!
my man.
And now you've got the Fiend Script instantly to answer. Oh.
I mean, yeah. You don't get a Rax, but you get a kill onto the mid laner and a buyback on the Tiny. It's not looking good right now. And it's, I mean, he's picked up an Orchid, but again, for what? What is this Orchid actually going to do for Ken? I feel like you need to save it for super late into a team fight. And by that point, you've probably already lost the team fight. I would have been much more confident and comfortable if they went into something that was able to have an impact early on, like a Daedalus.
I guess... So not only do they have the kick, but they also have double toss now. So, well, somehow force a BKB out, toss her inside the fountain, lock her in there with shards,
I usually
It's a pipe dream,
Sure.
but that's something that Daddy gave him with his 0% chance can't predict.
Oh, they've got the solar crest. Let me check the win probability and see if it's. Oh no, mustn't have updated yet.
Maybe your solar crest call
Radiant's
wasn't
middle tower
that good.
has fallen.
It was good 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, still 0. I mean, I think there was even a leveler picked up for Toy. So yeah, that's even more difficult now to combat into. It's got the split shot modifiers.
Is there any reason it needs to give 5 armor as well, the leveler? Honestly, like, in
Radiant's
what
turret
universe
has
does
been
a
killed.
sword give you armor?
Well, are we really using that logic? I feel like there's not that much logic behind it in Dota. There's a robe
What do
that
you mean?
doesn't
Dota's a
give...
very logical game.
Oh, right. Yes, yes, yes. The ceremonial robe, I mean, sure, that gives a little bit of armor, mainly only 1. Like, a robe does nothing in combat, but...
It's cloth.
Well, it's
You
something.
never played an MMO before in your life.
Dude, I played an MMO.
man.
Asteros under a ward, but they do not have JG nearby. Dude, Koth is like... dirt cheap. It's nothing, but it's 1 armor. If you're going off this logic... gotta give him something. Not mana. What? Okay, you're telling me some
Give it
Koth
my
gives you
shot.
mana? Screw your MMO logic. Gotcha, boy. Got the follow-up. Another quick and easy kill onto T here. Just trying to get some vision down for this last fight by the Roche Pit.
You must have never been good
Radiant's
enough to get the
top
loot that
tower is
gives
under
you
attack.
mana in the MMOs. That's all I got to say. If you had to, speaking of logical things in the Dota universe, if you had to have any ability in real life in the game, not counting
Radiant's
Nature's
top
Prophets,
tower
Global
is under
Teleport,
attack.
what would it be?
Well, firstly, I want to counter that question with how often have you been asked this and how much have you thought about it? Because I feel like you,
I have
as
never.
a,
I feel like other
Bullcrap.
people have been asked it, but I haven't honestly thought about it.
I feel like you have an instant answer.
I don't actually. I'm
Dyer's
still
courier
thinking.
has been killed.
Ken's gonna reveal his position.
shit.
Repeater's got the follow-up though. Okay, if they can get rid of Masros before the first Doom out in the team fight, but the white hole giving Masros an opportunity to now server the fight, and the Doom, it's not even needed as Toy is just on another level as the G's are dropped the Motivate. They will take their first series, and Garchavoy, he was asking for an interview. We said he had to win the series, and looks like they do just that.
Or they will be breathing a sigh of relief, and UDV, they will be regretting the one that got away. First, it was that series against TNC, where game number 3, they took a bad Roche fight, ends up losing them the game. This time around, it's a couple of drafts where they needed to play aggressive, and they just weren't able to. Motivate.Trust able to take advantage of some good plays. You know, you die a few times on the support there on Tigger, but he did his job. He kept those lanes pushed away. It even goes back to the bans. I believe in all 3 games, Motivate looked, to get rid of the Beastmaster. Just anything that's going to look to put pressure onto them. And I felt they played like the Motivate.Trust of old today.
Yeah, which is something that we've had the opportunity to cast a lot of Motivate through Division 2, through third-party tournaments. Of course, it's a different look at the lineup, but something that we were mentioning off screen was just the fact that Motivate, their first 2 series were against the hardest teams so far, against RSG, the undefeated, and against Talon, the undefeated. We also did mention that those games, they didn't look too convincing. There's still some things to work on for them, but the important thing is this going to give them confidence? That's the main thing. It's giving them confidence. Dude, have you seen...
What up?
Have you, take a look at the post-match interviews chat.
Let's have a look. Is it get me in or something? I think it's gone. I can't see it.
I don't know who delete. I don't know. Okay, so Fearless said, "Where interview, bro?" in post-match interviews, and usually our admin will tell us. Now Nino said waiting for response on the interview. So Gacha Boy must have deleted that. So
Very
funny.
good. He's keen. I would be feeling optimistic for Motivate just because this is something, right? In the most recent BTS Pro Series, they didn't do so hard, and a few other third-party tournaments, they haven't looked amazing. This is their first win in DPC. The losses came against, those top 2 teams, like we've been mentioning. But to put a a damper on it a little bit. It still was with a very similar sort of strategy in every single one of their wins, right? It was on the back of this hyper carry, going very greedy and looking to play around that.
Yeah, which is not only that, but it was also both Doom games with Masteros. So not just a hyper carry for Toy, but also Masteros being on a hero that scales really well into the late game. But this is something we've been seeing in Southeast Asia and something that we were mentioning a lot and why we favored the teams that had the faster tempo lineup. When you're going to come across those teams that can actually execute a lineup that should be able to win early, that could cost Motivate. Something you have to look through to next games, maybe work on in particular, because that's a scary thing. But at least Motivate through and through their previous dynamic with Jackie, with Q. It was really off this farm intensive, get Jackie ridiculously farmed, and then go from there. And it really doesn't look to be too much different with Toy, as trying to get Fearless in. He's wanting this interview.
He's desperate. He was chomping at the bit for it during the pre-game of game one. He was like, I'm going to get the interview today. I'm like, hold on, hold your horses, champ. You got to win today. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I got it.
All right, there we
All
go.
right. He's in. Pull him in when he can, although he's deafened. There we go.
There we go.
All right, bring him in.
All right, gotcha, boy. You were wanting your interview. Was this
Interview.
Oh, let's go. You love to hear it. Gotcha, boy. How's the vibes in the teams? What are your mentality and what's Motivate's mentality after the start to the season?
Yeah, we're gonna go server very soon. I don't know, like it's like a big leap for us, I think. I mean, like earlier, like we were like super sad when we lost twice in the DPC. Now I think keep moving with this moment.
Yeah, the momentum's definitely there. Like Aries and I have been saying, look, you have to think of the silver linings, and the two teams that you lost to, they're currently undefeated. So it's not like they're bad teams. So you just got to keep learning and keep improving. And we certainly did see that from you in this series.
True.
A lot of people seem to say that Motivate.Trust are a little bit one-dimensional, maybe, where you just play around this like really big hyper carry on your position one. It was either the TA or the Medusa. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you guys bring a lot more to the table? Because I'm sure the chat and everyone else would love to know.
Yeah. I mean, we have lots more secret weapon, but we cannot tell you guys right now. So
All right, you can
all you
PM
guys
me.
see is
Tell
Medusa
me
and
privately.
TA right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If it leaks, I'm gonna sue you.
Okay. Sounds good. You can sue me if I tell anyone. I do have a question
Yeah.
actually about Masteros's hero. Is the Doom what you feel like is the response to this Tiny in particular? Just because Necro is often the big counter to it, but obviously they picked the AA. Were you just wanting something that could do percentage damage against someone like Tiny, who's very tanky?
We want to have like something maybe strong late game, so we the hero, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Anything, Aries?
I've got one more question, just in regards to the dynamic of the team with Tigger and Toy coming in and Jackie and Q leaving.
Do you mean the differences?
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
what the differences and kind of how the team shapes up with these new additions.
I think the communication is more chaotic for now, but it's more fun, I guess.
Is that something you prefer, like more chaotic but more fun, or something a little bit more quiet?
I prefer more fun, but not much this chaotic. Like I don't understand what they're saying right now. Like 3 people or 4 people speaking it at the same time. You know how it goes.
Have you still got Lakels as your coach at the moment?
Yeah, for sure.
Did he say anything to you after that, game one or game two, just to set you up for game number 3, or was it just feel confident and do what you're doing already?
He said like we just for the game 2 we lost because like we didn't play the hero properly. Like they have stronger late game, and we play like game 1. That's why it didn't work out. So we play like in the game 2.
Yeah, that is something that we actually saw throughout the 3 games, is that the greedy draft seemed to win every single time. Is that how you feel the meta is at the moment, or was that something that was just in this series? It happened to turn out that way.
I'm not sure about meta, I guess, but I think it feels best for us. We know
Okay.
exactly what to do to be able to go to late game.
Yeah. So you trust the late game, and you're going to focus a little bit more heavy on that. I mean, play to your strengths. It sounds like it's working for you. I also want to ask: are you guys feeling any better as well? Because you had that series against Army Geniuses, which had to be postponed because a few of your players got sick. Is everyone doing okay?
Everyone is getting better now. Like almost fully recovered.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. And question from me specifically: when are you streaming next, Fearless? I always miss your streams whenever you seem to go on, and we got to get there to support you.
I don't know. Maybe when the DPC ends, I'll do some stream.
Okay, sounds
See
good.
you,
Sounds
see you
good.
guys on PIT Fearless channel.
Well, there you go. Do you want to say it one more time so everyone can go follow you over on Twitch?
PRT Fearless
There you
on
go.
Twitch.
There you go.
ERT Fearless. You love to see it. The man has the blue tick as well, so he's completely verified Twitch partner. So congratulations again, Fearless. Do you have any shout outs or any words for your fans that are watching right now?
Futang Inamo. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I was so hyped. It's like long. It has been a while, and I've been in the series.
Oh, mate, that's we love seeing your excitement. It comes out in your gameplay and it comes out in the interview as well. It's exactly what we want to see from you. And Danog and I are both excited to hopefully get to do another interview with you and potentially any other the other players as well. So, Fearless, thank you, thank you.
I woke up this morning. I wanted to have interview. So yeah.
That was the motivation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you said it in the pregame lobby. You said interview. Where's interview? And I
Yes.
guess you got it. You predicted what the future was going to be, and yeah, Fearless. Hopefully there's many more to come. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Danog, what a man. Fearless is quite the guy.
Always a pleasure.
Fearless
The sea battle cry as well. He made sure to just toss that one in there at the end of it all. What can you say? What can you say? The man is hyped. Like you said, it's been a while since Motivate have got a W on the board for themselves, and it means a lot. I mean, what does that put them at 1 and 2 now? UDV are 1 and 3, so they actually leap ahead of UDV with that win. And yeah, I would be a little bit concerned if I was them. The teamwork wasn't quite there that we saw towards the very start of the DPC season. So UDV, they're certainly going to need to start picking up some of those victories, because I believe their only win so far has been against Apes, which they did in a 2-0.
Yeah. And we mentioned it a lot so far, but Motivate, of course, their two prior series have been against the toughest opponents. So they've got a lot of weaker opponents that they're still yet to verse. But of course, there's still things that need to be worked on for Motivate. And exactly like it was said in the interview, Fearless feels like their strongest suit is the late game. But a lot of people feel like right now it's the early game, the fast tempo that could come to bite them in the back. But they're playing with their strength, and we see that be as a result in their first series victory. So, Danog, any closing comments for us tonight?
Tusk offlane does not work. Please don't try it. I just felt like there was no scaling potential for it. It wasn't enabled heavily enough, and it got punished. The late game just didn't eventuate for them, and they weren't able to get as aggressive as they probably should. So some of that credit needs to go to the banning done by Motivate.Trust, but it just never felt like it would have had the impact necessary against a Medusa Bane lane.
Well, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. We only had one series, Motivate against UDV. Of course, it is Motivate getting their first series victory for the Spring Tour. We will be back on Wednesday. And my God, we have a hype match. It's going to be RSG taking on TNC. TNC off to a slow start. They really need to get some series victories under their belt, or we might have to start putting them in contention of one of these two teams that could be eliminated. That series is going to be at midday Singapore on Wednesday, and then we will move that over into 2 Division 1 series as well. So make sure you tune in on Wednesday. It's got some more exciting action for the Spring Tour Division 2 for Southeast Asia.